Okay.
Hey. Hi everybody, thanks for having me. So I'm Kate, not Xenia. Xenia very kindly took me out for lunch and said, I've got a bit of a favour to ask you, and this was the favour. So I'm here instead of Xenia while she swans off and goes skiing. So she's having a lovely time. So I joined the business in the summer of 2013. So I've been around for 8.5 years now. I joined purely for the discount. That was the only reason I joined. So I found a range of products that I wasn't allergic to, wanted to switch all of my skincare to Neal's Yard, and my lovely upline said to me, well, why don't you join? And then you get a 25% discount. I thought, well, you know, got nothing to lose really. So I just did it. Didn't tell the husband, just went and signed up. And then I realized that actually I could earn some money out of doing this. And I had a job in IT at the time, which although I enjoyed, I didn't want to do it forever. So I started partying, I started recruiting, I got to group leader, I gave up my other job, and this is my only income. And I love doing this and I wouldn't do anything else. So that's me. So today we are doing Strong Start. So let me just share my screen, share the right one with you. And
just whilst you're doing that, Kate, guys, if you haven't yet watched the first 2 sessions on recruiting, put that on your to-do list out of tonight, because this is the 3rd part of a series of 3.
So my first question for you really is looking back at the last couple of weeks. So do you want to pop in chat how many calls you've done and messages you've done since our last call we had? And then if anybody's recruited, feel free to shout that out as well, and well done. So who's been making lots of amazing recruitment calls? I've realised I can't see the chat, Sean, because I've got my screen share on. So
that's fine. I will keep an eye on it. I think there's probably a little bit of a hesitation at this point, if not an awkward silence in some camps, but hopefully we'll get some messages coming in.
I've been emailing. I've emailed lots of my sparkles.
Do you get response from emails?
Not really.
It's always good to grow and stretch the presenter as well, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, I also sent a couple of WhatsApp messages and got responses from both of those actually, which was great. They were both not at the moment, but you know, at least I know where I stand.
Okay, so we've got a couple of shout outs. Serena has recruited one person, and Serena, get ready to come off mute because I need you to explain this. What does sent out daily WhatsApps mean?
So I have
want to nick that idea.
I have a group with all of my clients on there because I'm a beauty therapist. So all of my clients are on a WhatsApp, whereas a lot of them aren't on Facebook. So any of the promotions that are coming through, although at the moment they have been amazing, I feel like I'm slightly bombarding people. So every day I try and put one post on my WhatsApp group to sort of 100 people.
Okay, fab. And I think what we've got this month lends itself to that, doesn't it? With the commitment from the company for each recruit that comes in, it makes it really easy to post about that. Louise has recruited 2 in the last 6 weeks. Smiley face. Yay. Thumbs up.
Well done.
Well done, Louise.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see how much money we can get the company to donate to Women for Women by recruiting hundreds and hundreds of people.
Absolutely. Hazel has been messaging a few sparkles with half an eye on getting them to come to Sean's Take a Look evenings. No recruits yet. Hannah, haven't had a chance to do much as my full-time work has been crazy. 2 tragic faces. Shay, I've been in person, capital letters, chatting. Imagine that, recruited 2 in February. So it works then, Shay, that relational business. Jan says, not so far, but as I don't have many clients, I've been talking to people at networking groups. Jane says, honestly, sadly none, but haven't tried hard. Got a possible sparkle today. Joe says, 3 chats, no calls, sadly no takers, but seeds sown. So
brilliant.
We wait with bated breath.
Excellent.
And Sharon says, I've had replies, emails, DMs, but not registered yet.
Cool.
There you go. There's your feedback.
Brilliant. Well done, guys. Keep going is my message. You know, if it hasn't worked yet, it will eventually. You'll find the right people.
I think that, just to interject, I think that's really important, because if we haven't actually recruited anybody, then this session stays theoretical.
But it's also, I think this session's also very good for anybody that might need to give themselves a strong start again. So, you know, although you might have joined a while ago, if you haven't actually got sort of up and running this year, then hopefully some of the things we're going to talk about today are some of the things that you can do to get your business up and running this year. So, right. So what we're going to look at is you've recruited. So what happens now? And we're going to look at how their why sets the tone of the conversation. And then we're going to look at the 7 steps that you need to do in any order to gain success. And the reason it's in any order is because it's not a one size fits all journey. So everybody's different and everybody needs to do their strong start slightly differently. So first we're going to have a quick look at mindset. So thinking about, and pop in the chat, how did you feel when you joined? Were you excited? Were you nervous? I'm going to use my new favorite word. Were you trepidatious? I like that word. How did people feel?
We've got excited, determined, excited, challenged, excited to do success start. Sharon loves a bit of freebie stuff. Inspired, unsure, but just ready to give it a go. Excited to get the discount, as that's why I joined at first.
Me too.
And another excited.
Good, lots of excitement then. And then think about how the strong start process was for you. Was it amazing? Was it a bit lacking in information? How did it all go for you guys? I'm sure you've all got amazing uplines and it was all brilliant. And if you think about how it was, if it wasn't as you would want it to be, how would you like it to have been? Again, just sort of think about that one. And then keep those 2 thoughts in mind as we go through the session. So think about how it was for you and how you'd like it to be, and think how it could be improved, and what steps you could add to that as we go through. So when we're in the strong start period, we need to speak quite directively to our new recruits, because they don't know what they don't know. So I'm just going to play you a quick video by a lady called Pam Herman, who very much explains directive thinking or directive leadership.
Can you turn your volume up, Kate?
Hi everyone, Pam Herman here. Welcome to this quick training video. I'm so pumped to share this.
Oh, sorry, hang on.
I learned this a couple of weeks ago from a fabulous coach and mentor that I'm working with, and I want to share it with you guys because this is all about how it is that we can prevent people from quitting within 90 days. Once I learned this is all about how we develop and how it is that we can match development stages with leadership stages. Oh my gosh, I thought, you know what? My peeps need to know about this. So here we go. You ready? Let's get started. First thing we want to understand is development stage number 1. This is called the honeymoon stage. This is when people are brand new to something they've never embarked in before. So it could be riding a bicycle. It could be building a business. It's actually a great metaphor. So development stage number 1 is really marked by honeymoon, enthusiastic, very exciting. Okay, so we're going to call this the honeymoon stage. And this is where a lot of people have high confidence because they think to themselves, well, oh my gosh, this could be the solution to my problem. And I want to embrace this thing entirely, very quickly, and get out of the space where I am and where it is that I want to be. So using the bike analogy, which is a great one, you know, when you're 4 or 5 years old, you're thinking, look, I want to go beyond my driveway. I want to go with my brothers and sisters up and down the street and possibly around the corner to the park, and then a few blocks down the road to the school, or even further to go to the corner store. It's a total sense of independence and liberation. And when we're building a business and direct selling, it's really no different, is it? We want to be out of our space and into someplace better and more exciting. So honeymoon stage, this is really, really important that you match the honeymoon stage with a leadership style that is very directive. We're going to call this L1 for leadership 1. Okay, very directive. And why do we need directions at this point? Well, we're in this space called the unknown unknowns. We really don't know what it is that we're supposed to know. And rarely will you hear me quote Donald Rumsfeld, but he's got a great quote on this. You know, there's the known knowns. These are the things we know. There are the known unknowns. These are the things that we know we don't know much about. And then there are the unknown unknowns. And these are the things that we have no clue about. Okay, so where we are right here is in the unknown unknown. So it's important for you when you recruit somebody brand new that you're giving them very clear and concise action items. The starter guide alone, here's a little tip for you. Starter guide alone will not cut it. It does not do deep enough level.
I'm going to stop her there because she's talking about a starter guide that obviously isn't relevant to us. She does go through the other stages of leadership as well. So if you want to watch those in your own time, you can, but it's quite a long video. So we're just going to watch the one that's pertinent to today's and to our new recruit who's in the honeymoon phase and is very excited. So for those of you that haven't recruited before,
Skill development.
go away, thank you. This is what happens when somebody joins your team. So you get an email that says someone has joined your team or someone new has joined your team. This has obviously got all their details on it and their website and things like that. And I seriously do, 8.5 years later, still do a happy dance every single time that somebody joins my team, because I've probably worked quite hard to recruit them. And when they've joined, it's amazing. And also there's that thing where they've said they're going to join, but they didn't do it straight away. And they didn't do it the next day. And you start to send them that message that goes, are you going to join? Is everything okay? And then the email pops through and it's like, yes. And then the work starts. So what we do once they've joined, contact them in your usual way, welcome them to the team, make them feel that they are part of a team, they're not just on their own, and arrange a date to get them started. But be really, really mindful of Success Start, because obviously Success Start 1 is 21 days of joining. You don't want to arrange a chat with them on day 22 when they've missed Success Start. So welcome them, arrange that date. If you can do it face-to-face, that's obviously preferable. Otherwise, there's always Zoom or on the phone. I would suggest you don't try and do Strong Start via Messenger. I think it needs to be a little bit more interactive, a little bit more personal. And, you know, I don't think you can, I certainly couldn't do that on Messenger. So, and then when we talk to them, what we need to think about is how important their why is. So when you chat, ask them to remind you why they decided to join. Ask which kit they chose and why. But don't make assumptions about why they've chosen a particular kit. You could say, oh, anybody that buys a £50 kit is just there because they love the products. They want, you know, they want a cheap kit. But actually, it could be a £50 kit because that's what they can afford. And actually, they're going to use that kit as the basis to then earn an income that they want, that they really need. So don't make any assumptions about why they've chosen the particular kit they want. But also hearing them talk about that kit also helps to give you an idea about their commitment and those kind of things. Also ask how quickly they want to get on with their business. Is it something they want to start tomorrow, or is it something that they just kind of want to get on with slowly? And this all sets the tone and speed of the conversation. So I just want to give you a quick example of the tone of the conversation. So these are 4 different reasons as to why somebody might want to start their business and how we can encourage them to start. So if somebody wants an income, we could say, why don't you invite some people over and show them your new business? If they want to sell to friends and family, we could say, get some friends together and share your lovely products with them. If they want to use the products in their therapy business, we could suggest they host a launch event to tell your clients about your new fabulous product range. Or if they want to meet people and fundraise, you could suggest they get some friends together, ask them to bring a friend and invite the neighbours. So of all those things, what am I saying to you that you need to do? If you want to pop in chat what you think I'm asking you them all to do.
Kate, just so you know, if you scroll to the top of your screen when you're screen sharing, the drop down should come with the chat function.
Oh, yeah. Clever. Well done, Serena. Yep.
Yeah, it's people around product, isn't it?
Yeah. You got it. Come on, animation. Yay, there it is. So basically what you're doing is you're using different language to suggest exactly the same thing. So when we're talking all the way through this training, keep that in mind about what their why is, and therefore how you might want to change their language. Obviously, as I go through each slide, I'm not going to give you the language for each different way of saying it, otherwise we'll be here till midnight. But that's just, you know, what you need to bear in mind.
Can I just interject, Kate?
You can.
I'm just aware that as I look at that, it seems so blinking obvious, but when I started recruiting, I so didn't do this.
Neither.
I think probably with Neil's Yard, it was because I needed to get my head around the product. I knew direct selling, I just didn't know anything about Neil's Yard Remedies products. So what I used to do was send people off to the website to look at webinars and, you know, read information about products and join the Facebook group because I wanted to feel that sense of community, none of which actually get them going.
Mm-mm.
And my take up of Success Start at the beginning was really poor as a result. So have a think about what you're doing. Those of you who've recruited already, what is the first thing you give them to do as action? Because Kate's just given you the one thing that's actually going to help them start feeling successful, even if they're just friends and family consultants, they just want stuff at discount and they just want to kind of feed their own habit with a few orders that drop out the sky. They don't have to run another showcase ever again, but this is a way of launching that to their friends and family. Otherwise, what's the alternative? For instance, with my bad example, if you send them off to the website, all they're going to know is all the stuff they don't know. They're going to be suddenly aware of, oh my goodness, I don't know anything about all of these products. How am I ever going to sell them? And you and I all know that actually that ignorance on fire, as I call it, somebody with enthusiasm for Wild Rose Beauty Balm can be a consultant for precisely 30 seconds and still manage to sell one, even if they know nothing about the product.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of a light on moment for me. It's kind of, okay, so what was I doing or what am I doing? And what do I need to adjust in my messaging with new joiners accordingly? Because this is the tried and tested way to get people going.
Yeah. So these are the 7 tried and tested steps to a really fabulous strong start. And the reason that I've put them as sort of like a pie chart is because it's 7 steps in any order. I would also suggest you do it in more than one conversation so you don't blow their minds. And again, it applies equally to therapists and non-therapists, but just think about the language that you're using for them both. And remember, as we were saying earlier, you need to tell them, you need to be directive. Ask questions and listen to answers. Don't do what my strong start used to be, which was, this is absolutely everything you need to know about Neil's Yard Remedies to have a really, really successful business. Right now, go and do it. And I talked at them for an hour. Funny enough, it didn't quite work. So since then, I've slightly modified what I do and it's much more successful. But yes, it's really important, the whole sort of questions and listening to the answers. So I'm going to go through these 7 steps. They're not in any specific order. I've picked out 2 because to start off with, because they're quite easy ones. So the first one I've selected is to share your website. Sorry, that's one of my customers come to pick an order up, but my husband's dealing with it. So yeah, share your website. It's a really easy way to share product and to earn an income. And then you want to think about how they can do that, or explain to them how they can do that. So tell them to share on social media, send it to everybody they know, and tell your mum. But also what's really important is tell them that postage is free when they spend £40 or more, because I don't know about you, but I will quite happily spend £5 more on a product so that I don't have to pay the £3.95 postage or £4 postage as it is with us. So, you know.
Serena's nodding vigorously, Kate. You're not the only one.
Oh, I bought a £10 pair of socks for cycling, so I don't have to pay the £5 postage. But I do have a lovely pair of stripy cycling socks now, so it's great. The other thing to say is make sure it's your website that you're sharing. So the link to it is in the email when they join, so they get that email and so do you. So you've both got the link to their website. But what I'm also just going to do is, if I can get to it, is just show my website, and I can never find it. How do you get rid of the stop share at the border thing?
Again, like the chat, you have to scroll up and let the drop down come.
I want to get rid of the drop down. Home, there it is. So when you're looking at your own website, you want to make sure.
Kate, sorry, I think you're still screen sharing your PowerPoint.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. You need to stop sharing and then pick up the website or share desktop.
Cool. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Website, cool. So so what you want to do is you want to make sure that if they're sharing the website with their customers have got one click to be able to do it. So you can copy. I tend to use Control-C to do my copies and things with the website there and send it to them. Sorry, this isn't my website, is it? This is sorry.
Yeah, it is. You're on your website.
No, I want to be on my personal website.
It's oh, okay.
Thank you. That's the right
There you
thing.
go.
That's the one. I'm not overly good on Zoom. I'm very technologically good, but Zoom is not my friend. So yeah, you want to make sure that they're sending their website to customers, and also that they're sending the specific bit that you want. I got very excited the other day because I realized that our menus had changed. So rather than it being, I've forgotten what it said before already.
How to,
it now just says, oh, one click to join and one click to host. So if your new starter wants people to join their team, get them to send the join link. If they want them to host a party, get them to send the host link. Send your customers to where you want to be rather than making them click. And the one I quite often send is the offers page. So I'll send them the offers page so they can go straight to that. But let's make it easy for our customers so that they can go where they want to be. So
I also like the new look. If you look in the address bar at the top, so Kate, if you just hover over your Kate Dempsey /area, that bit, can you see it says offers at the top at the end, so you know you're on that page. If you just click on the host one or join one, Kate, people can see the thing change.
So it says have a party.
Just have a party, but
so really, really, really useful. And again, it's that telling, pushing through to people that as long as it says your name on the side, they're in the right space. And I still say that to customers, even when I give them the link, click the link and just make sure you've got my name up there. Right, let's go back to the PowerPoint, which I've lost. I thought I was good at this.
you are good at this.
That one, no, not that one. Right, I'm gonna kill that one. Oh, I've just killed it. Hang on.
No, you're two girlies.
Yeah. Right, can you still see that one or not now?
Yeah.
Okay. Where were we? We were here.
There.
Okay. Okay, so share your website. It's a really, really easy thing for them to do. And it's a nice first one that they can do and just kind of get on with. It's also worth explaining to them the process about when somebody shops. So when somebody shops, they'll receive an email to show that they've shopped. And that's usually my cue to pop something in the post to the customer and say, thank you very much for shopping with me. And also let the new consultant know that they'll get their 25% discount on the 10th of the following month in their commission statement. So explain the process to them about sharing their website.
If you've got any questions on the things that Kate's sharing, so that you're clear, because I'm just aware we've got some people who've been consultants not very long, please put them in the chat and I'll try and answer those as we're going.
Cool. Perfect. And then the next thing you can get them to do before their kit arrives is they can start on their Frank list. So I'm going to get you guys to do some work now. So if you guys can write down the names of 15 people that you know and just start to make that list. I should have said have a pen and paper handy, shouldn't I?
They'll all be scribbling notes, don't worry, Kate.
Part of the reason for doing this is it gives you a reminder of what it's like for your new joiner. If you want to give Sian a wave when you're done. Is anybody finding it harder than they thought they might?
Got a thumbs up from Helen. She's the winner.
Yay, well done, Helen.
Or there was a thumbs up. Yes, I'm finding it harder than I thought it might. Which is it, Helen?
Both. And I'm eating pasta again. Sorry, that's why I'm off.
Really sorry.
Okay, Serena's done. Okay, should we carry on?
Yeah, I think so long as people have got a handful of names.
Yeah, that's perfect. So obviously we've just asked you to give a sort of general list of people you know, but obviously Frank is a really great structural way of doing it. So Frank is your friends, your relatives, your acquaintances, neighbours and kids. Now kids can be colleagues or clients. I know that begins with a C, not a K, but not everybody has kids and therefore kid related activities. Acquaintances is the bucket of people that you don't really have anywhere else to put. And what I've done on this slide is just given you a couple of different ways of doing it, depending on how your brain works. So we've got a bit of a mind map at the top, and I have to say I slightly blew Xenia's mind, because if you look at the way mine goes round, I've got friends, relatives, kids, neighbours, acquaintances, and she needed it to go Frank. Just shows how people's brains work. Or you've also got the template down here that you've got in downloads. You can use that. You could do lists on a piece of paper. You could do a spreadsheet with lots of lovely colours on it, which is my personal preferred way of doing things. It just depends what suits you and what suits your new recruit as well. So when you're on that call with your recruit, ask them to name 15 people that they spend time with. If they get stuck when they're writing the list of 15, you can prompt them. For example, how do you know Helen? Oh, she's in my origami class. So who else in your class could you possibly, do you know? So it's about prompting them to expand that list of people. And then ask them who on the list they think might like to host a showcase or come to their launch event, again, depending on looking at what language they're going to use. And then challenge them to complete the list after the call, because I'm sure they know more than 15 people. Another challenge you can also give them is to have a look at who might like to join their team. And hopefully they might already have had the bookmarks about reasons people join and reasons people host. So you can either show them those, or you can send them to them and just say, if you're running out of ideas, have a look at your bookmarks for other reasons why people might host or join. So good old Frank, what do we do without him? And then the next thing you want to talk about is Success Start. So no matter why they joined, tell them about it. I need to tell you about this because I wouldn't be doing my job. Because wouldn't you hate it if 30, 60 days down into your journey, somebody said, oh, did you know you could have got free stuff? And you go, oh, I didn't know that because I joined for the discount. So you could assume, therefore, that I might not be interested in pushing my sales so that I could get free things, but actually I, like lots of other people, like freebies. So tell them no matter what. But again, think about the way you're going to speak to them. So this is your chance to expand your kit, have more products to share, get your favorite product or products that you've always wanted, maybe to get your diffuser. So again, it's all about in the language. And then highlight the recommend a friend, because I think certainly this is one thing that I wasn't truly aware of when I joined. So for every person that joins their team, they get a £50 voucher. I mean, that's almost a diffuser or almost your pot of frankincense intense cream. That's amazing. And obviously the more people that join you in that Success Start period, the more vouchers you get. It's unlimited. You recruit 100 people in that, you've got 50 times 100 vouchers. I mean, who wouldn't say no to that? But do it again, thinking about the language. Who would they like to work with? Who would they like to go on this journey with? So think about it that way as well.
Okay, can I interject there?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you wanted to.
Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to say, I think this is a really important one as far as misperception goes. I think we've somehow been told the lie that you need to know a certain amount of stuff about MWell Organic before you should start recruiting. And new joiners are a bit like lumps of Play-Doh. You can mold them into whatever shape you like. So whatever you tell them to go and do, like my don't do this example earlier, if you tell them to go and have a look around downloads, that's what they'll do. If you tell them to look for people who might like to do this with them, that's what they'll do. If you tell them to start doing a frank list, it might take a while, but that's what they'll do. And I think this one, you know, an interesting question if you get pushback is, or, you know, maybe I need to find out a bit more about it first. That's just perpetuating that misperception that they've got to know stuff in order to recruit. And one of the questions you could ask to push back gently is to say, when do you think that will be? Because all of us, I think, who've recruited before we knew everything. So at what point do you think you'll know enough to be eligible to start recruiting? Surely it's better to kind of turn that misperception on its head and say to them, actually, the very best time is at the beginning, where you only know a tiny, tiny bit more than the people who are coming to do this with you, and we learn together. And on the coffee and chat this morning, that is absolutely what happened. There was a new joiner on there that Holly James has just introduced, and she's a mum of a 3-month-old baby, not Holly James before the rumour starts, her new recruit. And we chatted about other people that she knows. She's got loads of people in her frank list who absolutely are ripe for the picking. She's going to be gutted if the company recruitment drive, you know, the paid advertising that's going on social media, or some other consultant get those people first.
Yeah.
So actually it is the £50 vouchers and absolutely the way to add to your kit, but it is also just, why not start right now? Start at the beginning and learn together. So that recommend a friend is soft language because it is about learning together. It's about who would you like to do this journey with?
I'm here, by the way.
Oh, you're there, Charlotte. There you are. There she is. Have you got gorgeous Sophia with you?
She's asleep.
She's asleep. So there we go. Charlotte, it's the same message as we were saying this morning, and she's here. So there we go. She's learning about recruiting. And how long have you been a consultant, Charlotte?
3 days.
3 days, yeah. So as Kate says, it is before the kit
4
comes.
days, yeah. I kept saying to Holly, I just want the kit to arrive. I'm so ready. I just want the kit to arrive. And then as soon as it arrived, I got in the bathroom, tried to on my face. What I really noticed is how lovely it smells. I walk out the flat and I come back in and I can smell it. You can smell it down the hallway. It's lovely, but it's not overpowering.
No.
Oh, look at that. Shay's put future ambassador Charlotte. Who knows where this journey will take you, but you're an inspiration. And I think it's really important, guys, that we allow people to do the journey like Charlotte's saying now. I just can't wait. I can't wait to get going, because that initial honeymoon stage is where the energy is the highest. Why would we not show them the best things to do that are going to help produce that success? Sorry, Kate, there we go. I think Charlotte just stole the show.
So thinking about Success Start, one thing you want to do is to show your new recruit how they can track Success Start themselves. Because if you start to build a big team, you've got lots of nice recruits coming in, you don't want to be every day messaging so-and-so and messaging your new recruit to say, oh, your Success Start 1 is up tomorrow, and Success Start, it just becomes a bit of an administrative nightmare. We're called independent consultants for a reason. We want to build independence and make our consultants independent. So if you don't know how to track it, go onto our website, go to reports and Success Start Tracker, and then it brings you up this lovely table which shows them how much they've got left, how much in sales they've got left, how many days they've got left to do it, and how many parties they need to do it. So if you can get them to diarise it a couple of days or through however long they think they need before the deadline is up, they can go and check it and make sure that they achieve their Success Start. If you've got one recruit, you might want to be there and help them to do it and do it with them. But if you've got lots, I would definitely suggest you show them how to do it and encourage them to keep an eye on it so that you don't have to keep doing it. Okay. And then we're going to talk about launch event as something that we would love them to be able to do. Again, think back to the previous language when we had that spreadsheet, the flowchart that basically said showcase. So think about your language when you're talking about this. Encourage them to put a date in their diary, but again, keep thinking about Success Start. If they want to achieve Success Start 1, they've got 21 days from joining. But also ask them what they'd like to achieve from their launch event. Start with the end in mind. Do they want a nice get together with their friends and family to share some lovely products with them? Do they want to come out of that launch event having booked a party with every single person in the room, or recruited every single person in the room, or recruited half of them and got half of them as hosts? So think about what they want to achieve from it. Go back to their frank list. So if they're struggling to, well, who do I invite? Well, that's what your frank list is there for. So look at that frank list and look at who you thought might like to come. If your new recruit asks how many people, slightly cheesy, but 8 is great. It's a really great number of people to start off with. An offer to attend if it's logistically feasible. But also make sure that they're aware that the results are theirs. You are just there purely for support. Sian, do you want to tell your story about being there and explaining to the guests?
Yeah, so fairly early on when I was team building with NY Organic, it was a face-to-face event, obviously pre-pandemic, and I just felt like as I started talking and introducing the brand and sort of explaining what we were going to do through the course of the party, there was a bit of an awkward vibe. It was like people were, I'd introduced myself, but they weren't clear as to why I was there. And I think it's a good skill to have in this business where you think, okay, what could I have done differently about that? And kind of on the hoof through the course of the session, I went back and said, I think I need to clarify, I've come to support, she was called Sue, the lady who joined. I've come to support Sue, and if you decide you want to purchase the products, if you decide you want to host an event, or if you're interested in joining, all of that will happen with Sue. I'm just here to show her how to use her toolkit. And it was like all the oxygen flooded back into the room, because there was this clash of loyalty between this random stranger who was now running the evening and their friend. And I realized that actually I hadn't clarified that. Sue and I were clear, but I hadn't told the guests. So since then, I've always said, just so we all know, and I always tell the new joiner, that's what I'm going to say at the beginning. I am here because it is a privilege to have this person as part of my team. And what we like to do is show them how to use their toolkit. So, what sales come of tonight, any of you decide you want to help support her getting going in her business and host a get together tonight, that would be great. She'll really appreciate that. She's also looking for other people to be part of what she's doing. And if you're interested in that as well, all of that will happen with Sue, or whoever, obviously. And it has really just eased the process to spell that out. And I know it's not very British, but it really helps.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Can I say something on that, Sian and Kate?
Yeah, go
Sorry.
for it.
I've noticed as well that there can be an awkwardness if you recruit somebody who you've got mutual friends, and or say like you recruit somebody who was hosting with you or something. Those customers feel torn as well, because they're like loyal to you and they've been shopping with you. So actually going along and doing that event with that recruit really helps, again, spell it out that actually now you're going to shop with them, because that's how it works and it supports us both. And you don't need to worry about, you're not being nasty to me because you're swapping to her, that kind of thing. And it really sort of gives your blessing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a really nice way of putting it. Yeah. Sorry, Kate.
Yeah, that's really lovely. Yeah. And just thinking about how you're going to do the launch event, obviously, if you can do it in person, it will be my preferred way. But of course, you could do it Zoom or hybrid if you wanted to, depending on what works and what people feel comfortable with.
I'd just like to reiterate what you said about therapists and those who are friends and family not doing launch events. I think that's another thing. Quite often, rather than steering in that directive way that Pam Herman said, if people are like, no, I'm not really into parties, we just let that go. And actually, that obviously we're not going to force the issue, but sometimes it's quite helpful to say why you're suggesting it. So with therapists, I say, I just think it's what many therapists have found is that it's a much stronger way to introduce a new brand to your treatments. So the contact list for the guests would be their clients. If they want to host outside parties, get-togethers for friends, that's fine. But I usually describe it with a therapist as which list, wearing your tunic, which list of guests do you want to have? Because that's not mates, girls' night in. That's introducing my product range to my clients. It's a different group of people. And with friends and family people, what they do is they back out of the launch, or misperception can be that they back out of the launch event. And actually then they just hand out catalogues and sort of dash off, when actually a get together kind of goes, ta-da, my shop is open. Feel free to take a catalogue. And if you want to order things, now you know a little bit about the company. Otherwise, you're just giving someone a catalogue and you're just assuming our little seasonal guide is nothing to tell them about the brand. They can go and have a look at your website, but who's actually going to go and read up about the company? It's much better to be hearing that and rubbing products into the back of your hand at a launch event, and then you're more likely to engage with a website or a brochure or a Facebook group or Instagram posts or whatever. So I think if possible, be brave and push back a little bit on explaining why you're making that suggestion.
Yeah.
Don't take no on face value. You didn't when they were thinking of joining. Why stop now?
It's true. Very true. Yeah. Okay. So once they've had their lovely launch event, or even before they've had their lovely launch event, they might want to place an order. So I'm going to open a bit of a can of worms here, because I have an IT background. So I want to know, without having massive whinges about the system, when you first joined, is there anything specific that you struggled with your first order? And pop that in the chat. Payment, yeah. A whole lot. Yeah. Anything else? Or was everybody else found it really easy? Finding where samples were, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just cut out the payment part and we could just go on there and order what we like and not have to put card details in? It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if the company paid for it all for us, that'd be amazing, and gave us commission as well. Oh, 2 a.m. to process. Well done, Catherine. Okay, so having sort of thought about that, I say I have an IT background. I had my order sitting in front of me and I kind of got on with it on my own, because that's where my head is and that's what I can do. So the reason I'm saying this is not to say I can do it and you can't, but to get that thought process in that actually some people don't find it as difficult as other people. Don't be scared of the system is my biggest bit of advice. I've done testing for the company and tried to break it in lots of different ways, and you can't break it. All you can do is order the wrong thing, forget to order something, or order 2 of the things. And I've ordered the wrong thing. I've done that thing where you think you've added all your samples, but you've forgotten to hit enter or hit the add button. So we've all done it, but it's all a learning process. And what I don't want you to do is go to your new recruits, oh, the system's really, really hard to use and it's really difficult and it's dreadful, because then that becomes their perception of what the system is like. What I very much think is that the system follows the party process. I mean, if they understand what that party process is, it does actually make it a lot simpler to think about. So there's my lecture on the system over. So what I would suggest you do is to arrange a time with them when they've got an order that they can actually put through. So with therapists, it might be so that they can order any additional products that they need to offer treatments for, and ask them what additional products they might want, because they might think they just need, I don't know, a foot cream or something. But when you ask them what treatments they offer and then start to match those treatments with the products, they actually realise that they need this and this and this and this and this. And by that point, they've got £25 worth of free shopping and they're really happy. So think about that one. Friends and family people might want to order after they get together with their friends. If you've joined for income, you're going to order straight after that showcase. But also the other things you might want to tell them is that to remind them about their free and half price shopping. So again, if you follow the process through, you put your customer orders on, you put your free shopping on, you put your half price shopping on, following the process through nicely. Tell them about the host gifts, why they need them and where they can find them, and also the yes please gifts. And don't forget to remind them to order some more seasonal guides, and that they're under business tools, and that at the moment you can get, if you buy 1 pack, you get 1 pack free. So let's get those seasonal guides and get sharing them. And also let them know where they can buy samples and sample pots. Again, both of those are in business tools.
Can I just clarify as well on the income one, because they're often the ones who are most keen to get this bit right. Show them on the ordering system in the little rectangle that comes up in the top right hand corner of the screen what their income is. Don't call it discount.
Yeah.
Because actually if they're putting their orders in from friends and family, or customers basically, then those customers will pay the full retail value, and then either they'll have a income that's the difference between what they've got to pay the company and what the customers have paid, or they'll have a credit on their account. So it's weird. That's a weird bit because, okay, let me just explain that a bit better. If they've had a bunch of customers who've gone to their replicated website and ordered for themselves and paid with their own cards, that order will get processed and they're not paying anything, but they'll want to know where their money is. But usually what happens is they want to order some samples and some other products for themselves, and maybe some other things to add to their kit for the next theme or whatever. You need to explain to them that they're using their income, show them where the income is, and then you're using that income to make the purchases of the things that you're wanting. Because a lot of people get stuck on, but I haven't seen any money. Well, that's because you spent it. Yeah. So good question, Serena. The income is basically the difference between the retail value of the order and what the wholesale value is, plus postage.
Mm-hmm.
Is there somewhere you're saying that you can see that? Because I had that whole thing with my downline, didn't I, with the credit on the account, and it was all a bit mind-blowing. So is there somewhere where you can actually see that before it comes through on the 10th, what you've got in your pot almost?
Go on,
so
Kate.
that 25% difference, is there somewhere you can see that on your account?
Go on, Kate.
So you can have a look at your commission statement on the system. So it's under reports and is it commission statement? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Yeah. So you can have a look at that, and that will show you what's left, what your cash on account is, if there is any. And that also shows you if you've had any web orders through as well. That will show you the profit you've got from those as well. So have a look at that one.
Because not all web orders will necessarily go into a party order, will they? Sometimes you just get notification that someone's ordered on your website. You can see the total, and then you just work out 25% of that.
Yeah.
That's going to be in the commission that comes in on the 10th of the following month.
Yeah. Does that help?
But I think a lot of new joiners who want income, they forget that if they then go and buy lots of products, they're spending their income.
Yeah.
Maisie should.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that I would suggest you tell them how to do is how to track their order. So when you log into Arbit, the system, you've got these lovely pretty boxes on the front and a nice big one that says track your order. And when you click track your order, it gives you all the previous orders here and the tracking numbers. And when you click on the tracking number, it takes you through to the Parcelforce website, and they can then see where it is. I tend to track orders, nearly every single one of my orders, I will check where it's got to. I had one the other day. I had 5 going to the same village because I'd done an event there the previous week. Only they should all have gone to the Basingstoke depot, and one was at the London depot. And I was able to say to my customer, I'm really sorry, Parcelforce has messed up. Your order's going to be delayed by a couple of days. because Parcelforce have made a bit of an error. And I think it's really, really nice to be able to just give your customers that little bit of an update to say, you know, where it is and what's going on with it. Especially as Parcelforce don't always put a card through the door. So then you can say, oh, the Parcelforce man says he left it with your neighbour or at your post office. So it's just giving that little bit of extra customer service, and also stops people panicking about where their orders have got to. So I think it's
It is
a really
also
useful tool.
It is also true, isn't it, that sometimes we hand over the parcels, Neil Judd Remedies hand over the parcels to Parcelforce, and they don't update their website. So sometimes there'll be no updates on a parcel for a little while because they're tardy. Just keep going back in and checking. But
Yeah.
you know how long the time frames should be. And for those of you who are new, check in with your upline if you're thinking this should be here by now, because every now and again one gets lost, and then you can contact consultant services to get that sorted.
Yeah, so very handy little tool there that we can do that. I'm so glad we can do that. And then the next of the 7 steps, which is something that I really like to do, is to send them some information. So I send them a welcome card. I do have an example. So these are slightly old ones, these ones, but there's some nice branded welcome cards. Or I took this photo once that I rather liked, so I got it made onto loads and loads and loads of postcards. So nothing on the back, just enables me to write a little personal note to welcome them. I like to send them the Success Start poster, and I also send them some samples of products that might not necessarily be in your kit. So things like Beauty Sleep Concentrates, something Palma Rosa. I did have another example, and I've also got a couple of the Wild Rose products as well, depending on which kit they bought, and also, as with the current theme, to have a couple of Wild Rose samples other than the Beauty Balm, I thought would be quite useful. So yeah, so some samples of things that aren't in their kit. I would also send them a link to the NYR shop so that they can purchase any more postcards, their business cards, their labels, all that kind of thing. You could email them the information, but as I think we've talked about on quite a few occasions before in the past, it's so lovely to receive something in the post that's not a bill or not a boring circular, that when you get a nice pretty envelope in the post or one of the postage boxes, it makes you feel really, really special. And I think it's just something, you know, really, really kind and lovely to do, and makes them feel part of that team as well. So anything to add, Sian?
Yeah, I was actually just going to fess up. When we planned this session, she knew that. Look, she's smiling and smirking into her glass of water. I said to Kate, I have just had a light on moment, because I don't do this with new joiners. And that's crazy. I do it with customers, I do it with hosts, I do it with curiosity packs for people who are thinking of joining. Why do I not do this when somebody has joined? So I think sometimes, you know, when you just think, why has that not occurred to me? It's good to think about, what have I done thus far, and what do I want to change up to be even better going forward? Don't beat yourself up about what you haven't done. And afterwards, I haven't told Kate this, afterwards I was thinking about that and thinking, how did I get to that point where I just missed off that one important stage in the process of a customer, a host, a sparkle, and into somebody who joins? And I realized that it was probably because I didn't get one. And that's really important. Those of us who are parents quite often parent in ways that we were parented, or we deliberately choose to do the opposite. And I think there's quite a lot of comparison in being a consultant. So actually, I was thinking I would have valued that. I would have appreciated it. And I probably would have carried on the pattern as a result. So now I can take responsibility for that and change it up. So from now on, thank you for inspiring me, Kate. My new joiners will get that back.
Brilliant, and I'm sure they'll love it because it'll be really pretty.
And sorry to those of you who didn't get one.
And then the next thing we want to tell them about is team communications. So obviously, depending on where you are within the structure of your team, your upline or frontline leader is going to do certain things for you. So, but what you need to remember in that is that somebody might read an email from me, but they might not read Xenia's, or they might read Xenia's, but they might not read mine. So there's no harm in duplicating that information, because they might not necessarily read it from a different person. We all use different ways of communication, and also sort of, you know, different voices. So it just depends whose voice they want to listen to and what they want to hear, but there's no harm in hearing it more than once. but also let them know about how the wider team communicates. Invite them to the Facebook page or pages, team WhatsApp groups. It might seem obvious to most of us, but explain how a broadcast group works. Because I know when I first set up a WhatsApp group with my team, I had one of those really annoying groups where if people replied, everybody else saw the reply as well. And I had a lot of people leave it. So I have a group very much where I broadcast out. If people respond, they respond, and it's only me that sees it. And I make sure people in my team know that, so that they feel that they can respond to me without disturbing the rest of the group. So just explain that's how that happens, but also make sure that they know they need to have your number saved in their phone so that they can see the WhatsApp broadcast messages. And also let them know that there's a possibility that team emails might end up in their spam folder. So just to make sure that they're checking that as well. Sian, does that fit with what you guys do, or is there anything else that you do that team don't do?
I was actually just thinking about how some of you guys have now grown teams that have got more than a handful of people in, and it's all right to just review your communication, pick that up as a conversation with your senior leader, because a group with 5 or 6 people in a WhatsApp group works. A group that's got 25 people in a WhatsApp group doesn't work. So it's okay to need to just kind of make alterations as it grows.
Yeah, definitely. No other communication that you guys do that we don't do, that we do? No.
I don't think so.
So those are your 7 steps, but then I wanted to add an extra one just because I can. And this was about the one when your kit arrives. So open it, and open it straight away. Don't just kind of put it under the stairs and think you look about it later. I can't do that. I got a veg box this morning and was so excited to open it and see what was in it. That if I'm excited about a veg box, imagine how I was with my Neil's Yard box, Remedies box. If you're into your social media and you want to do a whole grand opening on social media, that would look amazing. But don't forget to open it all first, unpack it, repack it, so that you can do your box opening without loads of tearing off packaging and ripping out this and that and the other. So yeah, so you make it look a bit slicker than I would do if I was trying to do it. Try all the products, but don't forget to use spatulas. And again, this is probably really obvious for a lot of people, but for a new joiner, thinking they can just put their fingers in that lovely product and smear it all over their face, and then you tell them they're going to share it with other people, might not occur to them. So encourage them to use their spatulas. Share their kit. It's there to be shared with everybody that they know. Read their seasonal guide and give your seasonal guides away, but make sure they add their details to them. Because if I hand a seasonal guide without my details on it, how does that person know that they need to remember that they need to come back and shop with me? Because I put that seasonal guide somewhere in the magazine pile, find it a few months later and go, oh, I want that, but where do I buy it? And off to the main Neil's Yard website they hop. So make sure you've always got your details, and that's where those nice labels come in handy from the NYR shop, or you can print your own. So, but yeah, it's really important to get your kit out and have a play.
That's out, not off.
I was waiting for you to say that. As I said it, I thought I'm waiting for the response now.
Yeah, tell them to get their kit out.
Out, yes. Use it, smell it, enjoy it, as Charlotte sisters was saying earlier. So, and then ask them how they're feeling about starting their business, because over several calls, or at the end of each call, ask them how they're feeling, because if the answer's overwhelmed, you might just need to step back a little bit and go, okay, what's caused this feeling? What can I do to help it? If the answer is raring to get excited and my party's on this date and I need you to come to this, fabulous. That's exactly what you want. You want that excitement and that energy. But just, again, think about the language and go with what they're saying. And agree when you'll catch up next as well. Don't just finish that call going, nice to talk to you, catch up soon. So actually agree a date that you're going to catch up, and then set them some challenges. But again, make sure those challenges meet their why. So it could be that you want them to complete their Frank list, invite people to share their launch, share their website, talk to one person about joining. But very much base those challenges on what you've talked about and how far you've got through. And again, the steps could will probably be done over several calls. So base the challenges on what you've talked about. If you haven't mentioned Frank, don't get them to click the Frank list because they won't know what you're talking about. So yeah, challenges based on where they're going and what they're doing. So are there any questions? Because that's kind of, there's the 7 steps, and I'm going to give you an action plan in a minute, but has anybody got any questions or anything they want to raise in the meantime?
But while you're thinking of your questions, I just want to pick up on a couple of things in the chat. I thought starter kits had seasonal guides in. So I'm going to check that, and I'll do a post about it on the team Facebook group tomorrow. I don't know if anyone's got any other information on that.
I spoke to Holly about it earlier, and she was surprised that they weren't in there.
Totally.
Because she popped around, and I did say the other thing that I thought would be really good is when you host a party, obviously you have the amount that they will earn for hosting and everything. That doesn't come in the kit either. I had, there wasn't a piece of paper like with what the host would get. It would be very useful to have that in there as well. That's good feedback. I do know, Charlotte, that one of the things that is being talked about is what paperwork goes into a kit. It's there for later in the year as a thing that needs refreshing. But if you need the information meanwhile, if you go to your replicated website, the one that Kate showed earlier where it said join, host, etc., on the host one, all of the details are on that screen. Thank you. And it may be that, that what we're also up against is a general policy to try and avoid paper wherever possible. The trouble with that is it doesn't make information necessarily very accessible. And that's why, guys, we're doing this session, because we need to hold people's hands and show them where the information is. I just wanted to pick up on set them some challenges at the bottom, because really it's about action, isn't it? It goes back to the Pam Herman video that Kate showed at the beginning. It's about being directive. And giving them stuff to get on with is the next few steps in the action plan. But that's based on what they're saying they want out of it. Definitely match it with the results that they've told you that they want. And how fast or slowly they do those things will be okay. And it's true what Kate said, we're all independent consultants. Some people will crack on and do those because they're hungry for results. They're hungry to throw themselves in. And some people will take weeks and maybe never get round to those tasks. Well, that's their choice as well, but it will give you a clear idea of what level of support they're going to need. And even if they don't do much at the beginning, they might suddenly wake up and smell the coffee 6 months down the line. Who knows? Even deactivate, come back round, join again, and then get going. It happens time and time again. So it's about supporting in a way that is matched effort. That's the key thing. Yeah. So any questions? If you just unmute, that's probably easier if anyone's got any questions or comments to make. No. Looks like you covered it all, Kate.
Excellent. Okay. So
well, I've got a question. Into the chat, if you just put anything that you're going to do differently as a result of tonight's training, because we're all fine-tuning our practices, aren't we? What was your light on moment or your takeaway from what we've said?
Nobody typing. Oh no. Brilliant.
Okay, when you've typed, you can read each other's.
Yeah, Shay, I'm with you on that one as well. This has given me a bit of a kick up the bottom as well to look at my strong start process and make sure I'm doing it properly again.
Yeah, it's great. It's not making assumptions, is it?
No.
Yeah, that's
No.
nice, Joe.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's
to give
great.
you, shall I carry on?
Mm.
So to give you guys some actions, I've done enough work now, it's your turn. So if you recruited, contact your recruits and ace the strong start process with them. Follow these 7 steps in the order that suits them. Whether you've recruited or not, continue to talk to your sparkles. Update your frankness with every new group of people you talk to. If you haven't watched the 2 previous calls on recruitment, get watching. And don't forget to join the next call on the 14th of March at 8 o'clock, which is all about bookings. So those are your actions.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Because feels like there's a general apathy for getting together around the product, especially on Zoom at the moment. So it'd be good to share some practices of how to fine tune that and yeah, just get more results. I think all of us would have more bookings in our diary if they dropped out of the sky, but they don't. We've got to put some effort in for them at the moment. So it's good timing.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one as well. So, and I'm just going to leave you with a final thought. I'll leave you to read.
You can rely on Winnie the Pooh for sanity, can't you?
Always. So my message is be patient with your new recruit. They have a lot of information to absorb and may well need to be told things more than once. Take it at their pace, celebrate their success and join them on their journey.
Yeah.
And we all occasionally have that bit of fluff in our ear. And occasionally it comes out and we go, oh yeah. And your upline's going, oh, I've told them that so many times, but sometimes we just don't hear it. So keep listening and keep sharing. Brilliant.
Awesome.
And thank you for joining us.
Kate, thank you so much. Just great. And I think, you know, we're all encouraged by the fact that none of us are perfect. We're all fine-tuning our practices all the time. So definitely pull out of your notes that you've taken your takeaways and the things that you're going to change, and then stick it in your diary for 2 or 3 months' time just to review that takeaway list. I think, right, have I been doing it? Have I implemented it? And certainly on my to-do list going out of today is to make up some nice little packs that are good to go with the basics, you know, that blank card and some samples and things for people who are coming into the team at the moment. Awesome. Right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for being part of it, and see you again soon. Tomorrow night team meeting, if you need to regroup on all the stuff that has landed in our lap for March, the chance to think straight and work out which way up we are tomorrow night at 7:45. All right, take care. Sleep well, everybody.